So my occupational research assignment was over coaches and scouts. Specifically, I would like to be a basketball coach. Um, so just start out, go over the education needed, which is bachelor degree. There's a wide range of skills and duties. Um, Salaries vary a lot depending on what level of coach and the degree of school that they're at. And then that as far as the career goes itself, it's rapidly growing, and there are several reasons for this. We'll start off with the occupation description, which includes the education portion, skills, duties, and salary. So for education, all basketball coaches, as far as high school, college, and professional, I'd like to be somewhere in college level. Bachelor's degree is needed. Although there is no specific degree, a lot of people tend to go for something in sports management or something like that. But in reality, experience and connections are more important. You're going to want to start off and be either a player or a manager in college, and then move up from there. There's a kind of a ladder that needs to be climbed, being a manager, assistant coach, and then hopefully move up to a head coach, normally through your connections that are made. For skills, some of the main skills needed are communication, work ethic, teamwork, and obviously your knowledge of basketball. So for communication, the coach has to be able to communicate well with the team, with media, with other people in the community to get money, hopefully donors. Work ethic is needed. There are a lot of things to do as a coach, and it's not a normal 9-to-5 job, 40 hours a week. Guys are required to be there all the time, studying film, checking out new recruits, a lot of travel. And then coaches also have to work well with a team, whether that be their team of assistant coaches, working with the actual team itself. It's his or her athletes. And then I think knowledge of basketball is probably the most obvious thing. A lot of coaches dedicate their lives to the game, and they're going to have to spend a lot of time continually always learning and always checking out new things and seeing what works best for his or her team at any given time. So some of the most important duties are recruiting. They're going to want to always keep an eye out for talent. A lot of guys like to recruit close to them. Like here at USI, we tend to recruit more around Indy, St. Louis, Chicago area, kind of in the Midwest. Obviously, at larger programs, they're going to have a wider range to recruit at. They can recruit nationwide and actually globally. With scouting, coaches have to scout other teams and always keep an eye out on the opponent. They spend a lot of time watching film, making scouting reports and things like that. And coaching seems more obvious, but actually implementing a system on the team, on the court. Up to this point, we covered a lot of things that were kind of off-court type stuff. Actually coaching their players, making a system, deciding what to do in certain situations is another obviously big part of it. And then community affairs is another big portion. Going out, getting support for your team, getting people to show up, raising funds for the team and athletic program, getting in the news, doing press conferences and that sort of thing. And then something that I didn't have in my paper, but I recently talked with Coach Gerard here at USI, and he said that mentoring was kind of the biggest part of his job that he thought one of the most important, at the very least, was mentoring the players. A lot of these guys come from different backgrounds and stuff like that. So that's a big important thing. Basketball goes beyond athletics in a lot of ways, especially at the high school and college levels. Guys need some help off the court. If they're dealing with stuff at home or whatever the case may be, mentoring is a big part of it. Salaries vary a lot. The average, according to BLS, was 34,000 in the U.S. However, the top 10% made upwards of 78,000. The bottom 10% made somewhere around 19,000 or less. Top 10 college coaches in the U.S. all make well above $1 million, with top coaches making somewhere around 8 or 9 million. A lot of the things are incentives now too. New cars, clothes. Some coaches are given places to live and that sort of thing. Next portion of this is going to be occupation outlook. So employment projections and the impact market factors. So employment projections, coaching and scouting is one of the higher growing jobs out there. Projected a 12% increase in the next 10 years. A lot of these are going to be in metro areas, especially places like New York, a lot of cities in Texas, Los Angeles, these sort of places where there's going to be a lot of jobs, a lot of colleges, lots of high schools for these type of jobs. And actually, the job has grown a lot here in the last 20 years or so since 1998. So between 98 and 2008, there were nearly 150,000 jobs added. As you can see on the graph, the numbers just keep increasing a pretty large amount, and it's projected to continue to do so here in the next 10 years or so. Part of the market factors include increased participation, increased public interest, and financial reliance of colleges on athletics. Numbers keep going up for youth sports, while some things like football and other contact sports are going down because of cost and fears of concussions and things like that. Basketball and some other sports are continuing to grow rapidly. Also, there's an increased public interest. People are watching sports, consuming sports on a very large scale. I think that was kind of evident with all the events here in 2020. People are missing sports a lot and investing a lot in sports as they're coming back. And finally, the financial reliance on colleges or of colleges on athletics. So a lot of smaller universities and such like that are relying heavily on athletics to bring kids into their school, especially like Division III schools. They don't offer athletic scholarships, but they rely on a lot of people to come in for athletics to go to their school. I have a friend that went to Kentucky Wesleyan, and a lot of people on the Kentucky Wesleyan campus are athletes. This is because they don't really attract a whole lot of traditional students, so they rely heavily on athletics to get their numbers up. In conclusion, we kind of just went over the education, bachelor's degree, experience, the skills and duties needed. It varies a lot. There's a lot of things that go into coaching. The salary, varies greatly between kind of lower end and higher end. And then the rapid growth that we are seeing in the field, as well as some of the reasons for that growth. And then finally, here are the references that I used. They're also on my report itself. And that's it. I just want to say thank you for a great semester so far. And thank you. Have a good weekend.